The NFL playoffs are officially here, and I'm going to break down each game and go through things you need to know for each one. Um, so let's get right into it. First game is there's two games on Saturday. First one, Rams Panthers. Um, the Rams are favored by a ton in this one. Um, it's going to be the biggest spread of the weekend, 10.5 currently, and I believe the Rams are going to win this game. They did lose in week 13, I believe they played. Let me get into this. I did put a big thread together on Twitter. If you didn't look at that or didn't find that already, the Panthers and Rams did play in week 13, and the Panthers did win that game. But this one's a little different. It is in Carolina. Carolina is coming off a loss to the Bucs. And the Rams are favored by 10.5. Like I said, over-under is 46.5. So it's a decently high over-under for the week. There's a couple that are higher, a couple that are lower. But just getting into this game, both teams are kind of middle of the pack defensively. Panthers are 16th. Rams are 17th in total yards allowed this season. And then offensively, the Rams are the number one total offense. They average 394 total yards, and they've scored 65 touchdowns this season. I believe the Panthers have only scored 35 total touchdowns. So it's a pretty big difference between the two teams offensively. The first overall defense versus the 27th overall defense. So on paper, the Rams should definitely be favored in this game. They're getting a healthy Devontae Adams back in this one. And just offensively, they're well better than the Panthers in this one. So early lean is Rams win and the over 46.5 total points. I think the Rams could put up like 30 points in this one. I believe their last game went over 46.5. It was around 50 total points in that one. So I'd lean over in the Rams Panthers, and then Rams to win this one for sure. I am going to go through and pick every game and just do the bracket to basically to the Super Bowl, just to see how close we can get to picking each one correctly. Next game on Saturday is Packers-Bears. Now, this one's interesting as well. I believe the Bears opened as favorites in this game. It is in Chicago, and that has flipped. The Packers now are favored by 1.5 points. The over-under is right around where the Rams-Panthers game is, 45.5. This one is. It should be cold in Chicago, and this should be a pretty good game. They've already played, obviously, twice this season. They split the series. The Bears won at home. Packers won at home. Like I said earlier, this is in Chicago, and home field advantage definitely can play a role. But defensively, the Bears rank bottom half in both passing and rushing, 22nd against the pass, 27th against the rush. The Packers defensively started the year great. Micah Parsons seemed to be a great addition. Then he got hurt. Last 3 games, they've allowed 26 points per game on average. So that's not great coming into this game. They've definitely been lackluster on defense in the past several games. The Bears are kind of tricky on offense. So they put up 38 on the 49ers a few weeks ago. And obviously the 49ers defense isn't incredible. And then they only scored 16 against Detroit last week. And it honestly should have been less than that. This was points kind of in mop-up time. So it's a little tricky kind of figuring out where their offense is currently. The Packers, on the other hand, are coming into this game 4 straight losses, including one to the Bears in Week 16. They did rest their starters in Week 18, so it's really 3 straight losses. coming into this one. Jordan Love's healthy. Josh Jacobs is healthy. I believe Josh Jacobs said that he was as healthy as he's been since week 6. Earlier today, he said that. So I expect him to be fully healthy in this one. Right now, currently, I am leaning Bears to win this one, but the under of 45.5 to hit. I expect it to be a cold environment, probably windy environment. The under seems like a good play, and the Bears just seem like the better option right now. That could change over the week. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued why the line flipped from the Bears being favored to the Packers being favored. So I guess we'll see. With this one. I'm not quite sure. All right, moving on to Sunday. The first game is Bills at Jags. I believe Buffalo is still favored in this one. They have been favored, I think, up to as much as 3.5 points. And then this is the highest over-under total of the weekend, 52.5 points total. And just by looking at it, I definitely expect there to be a ton of points. The Bills have continued to be great against the pass. I'm pretty sure they're ranked first against the pass as far as the yardage allowed. But they do have a pretty weak rush defense. I do expect Travis Etienne to have a role. Probably will be in the player props for this weekend. Something with Travis Etienne rushing, because the Bills' rush defense has definitely been exposed throughout the season. The Jags, on the other hand, are pretty much the opposite. They have the best rush defense in the NFL. They're only averaging 85 yards allowed per game via the run. And this should be very interesting because the Bills have the best run game currently in 2025. During the regular season they had. James Cook has been incredible, and they've been rolling on the ground. So it's featuring the best run game versus the best rush defense. It should be interesting. I expect there to be lots of passing for the Bills offense and then lots of rushing for the Jags offense, although they have had a couple receivers step up big. Parker Washington has stepped up big. Even Jacoby Myers, who came over from, I believe, the Raiders, has played pretty well down the stretch. Early in this one, I do lean the Bills. I just think Josh Allen has the experience. I know the Bills' defense hasn't been the best, but I do count on Josh Allen and James Cook getting going and scoring a bunch of points. So it's a high over-under 52.5, but I do expect it to go over. Just my early thoughts in the week. Just two high-powered offenses. They both score a ton of points, and I think it could easily go over 52.5 on Sunday. Let me see. Next, I think there's 3 games on Sunday. Yeah, Eagles. So 49ers, Eagles is the next one, I believe. It's in Philly. Philly's favored by 3.5 points, over-unders 46.5, like the first 2 games, pretty much right around that number. And these are 2 interesting opponents as well. The 49ers' weakness on defense is in the pass game. They rank 25th against the pass, give up about 232 yards on average, 29 passing touchdowns this season. They've just had a ton of injuries on the defense this season. And teams have definitely been able to capitalize on that. And I do expect the Eagles to throw the ball a ton. They have A.J. Brown, Goddard, Devontae Smith on the outside. They have the weapons. I think they just need to trust Hurts to throw it, and they'll win this game. The Eagles' defense, on the other hand, not as good against the rush. 22nd rank. They go about 124 yards per game. And that's not great for the Eagles, considering Christian McCaffrey is coming into town. He's been dominant, pretty much RB1 all season. And, I mean, if I was the 49ers, I'd lean on the run. I'd try to run as much as I can, get up early. I think that's their best shot. is kind of a disadvantage for them, even if they do get ahead in this one. Their pass defense has been exposed, so I can easily see the Eagles throwing to get back in this one, or just throwing and leading this game early. But considering McCaffrey, I believe, is going to run a ton, I am going to go under in this one of 46.5, and then I am going to pick the Eagles to win this game. I just think home field advantage for them is pivotal. And with the 49ers defense not as great as they have been in past years, I think the Eagles can win this game. And then I believe the later game is Chargers-Patriots. This is in New England. The Patriots are favored by 3.5. Over under right around that 45.5 mark, like the other couple games. The Patriots and Chargers both have top 8 total defenses. They've both been pretty well defensively. Patriots are better against the rush. Chargers are better against the pass. So that's just something to note for player props and going into the weekend. Offensively, the Patriots rank top 6 in both pass and rush. They've got 22 rushing touchdowns, which is tied for 4th best in the NFL. I expect them to get going on the ground. They pretty much have a two-headed monster in Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. They also are getting Will Campbell back. I believe he played week 18 too. But with him back, I think they'll have success on the ground. I think that's their key to win the game. So I expect the Patriots to run a lot. The Chargers, on the other hand, I would think their game plan would be to throw a ton. Patriots are worse against the pass than the rush. They've given up 25 passing touchdowns this season. Also, Herbert rested last week. He should be healthier. But at the end of the day, it's in New England. I think the Patriots win this game. And then I would go under the 45.5 total points. It's probably going to be cold in New England. Maybe even snowing. There could be weather involved. So I'm going to take the under of 45.5. I do like a lot of the unders in these games. I just think it's cold and just not really geared to the offense in this first round of the playoffs. And this is a great example of another one. This is in Pittsburgh, I believe. Yes, in Pittsburgh, they won their division. But the Texans are the best overall defense in the league. They only give up 277 total yards per game on average. That's rushing offense in general. And the Steelers' offense is not really that great. So I expect the defense to dominate, especially for the Texans in this one. I'm a little bit worried about the Texans' offense, but I think their defense is so good that they'll be able to shut down Rodgers and the Steelers. I really can't see them scoring more than 2 touchdowns. So as long as C.J. Stroud can score more than 14, I think they'll win this game. Defensively for the Steelers, they do rank 26th in total defense. They've allowed 7 more touchdowns and 80 more yards on average than the Texans defense, which is just crazy. But over-under only 39.5. I do expect it to be low scoring. I'm not sure. I really went back and forth on this. It'll probably be a game time decision, but I would go under right now of the 39.5. I just think the Steelers are really going to have trouble scoring, and the Texans offense scares me too. I know the Steelers' pass defense has been exposed at times this season, and the Texans do have some weapons, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, but I still think I'd go under right now, the 39.5. And then I do lean Texans in this one. I just think better overall defense and better overall team. I think they'll win this one. So that pretty much wraps up all the games for this weekend. Now I am going to go over to this little simulator thing because I do want to pick pick the games throughout the playoffs. So I'm going to run through each game for this weekend, and then divisional round, championship round, and then Super Bowl as well. Let's see how close we can get. We'll have to revisit this when the playoffs are finally done. But let's just follow what I had for these first games. I did have the Patriots over the Chargers. Like I said, I think the Patriots are just overall the better team. I do expect them to get going on the ground. And let's go back to this one. Both great defenses, but I think the Patriots' rush defense will get to the Chargers, and I don't know how efficient the Chargers' offense will be. So I am going to go Chargers in this one. Bills at Jags. I am going to go Buffalo, just with Josh Allen's experience in the playoffs. He's really only had trouble with one guy in the playoffs, and that's Patrick Mahomes, who's not even in the playoffs this season. I think Josh Allen could capitalize on that. The only thing that scares me about that game is that it's in Jacksonville. I know it should be good weather for both teams, so that shouldn't really be a concern. But there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. So I'll be interested to see how this ends up. Like I said, I think the Bills are going to have to pass to win this one. The Jags are the number one defense against the run. So I'm going to go Bills there. So Patriots over Chargers, Bills over Jags. And then to wrap up the AFC, I am going to go Texans over Steelers. Texans defense is just so good. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to score too many points. Number one overall defense. I just, even how Rodgers looked last week against the Ravens haven't even had a great defense for several years now, but especially this year, they haven't had a great defense. I think, I want to say the Texans need to score 17 points to win this game, maybe 20 points. I really don't think the Steelers are going to score many points. So I'm going to take the Texans over the Steelers in that one. Now, NFC is a little bit tricky. Actually, I'll start with the Rams over the Panthers. I think the Rams are going to win that game pretty easily. So I'll just pick the Rams now. Like I said, number one offense this season. I think they're just going to outscore Carolina. Carolina's coming off the loss to the Bucs, and Bryce Young didn't look good. Bryce Young hasn't looked good all season. He's had a couple times where he's connected with Tedero McMillan, but I really don't see it going too well for them. Panthers 27th ranked offense. I mean, the Rams have almost doubled the touchdowns scored than the Panthers this season. 65 total touchdowns on offense compared to 35 total touchdowns. That's just a crazy mark. Now, it is in Carolina, so maybe that gives them a couple points, but the spread's 10.5. I just don't see them. I don't see them winning this game. Davante Adams is back. Davante Adams will probably be in some of the player props for this weekend. I just think when he's in, especially in the red zone, he's a target magnet. And I believe he did have 2 touchdowns in the previous matchup versus the Panthers, so I expect him to be involved. He said he's healthy, so I expect him to play well and be a huge part of the offense, especially in the red zone. Bears, Packers. I keep flipping back and forth on this one. I'm going to give it to the Bears just because they're playing at home. I don't know. The Bears and the Packers, I mean, they split the series this season. I don't know. Josh Jacobs said earlier today he was healthy, but Caleb Williams has actually played pretty well. And Green Bay's defense, I think it comes down to Green Bay's defense on the road. They haven't played well past 3 games. Past 3 games, they've allowed 26 points per game. So I'm going to go with the Bears. Bears beat them the last time they played. So I'm going to go Chicago over Green Bay. And then 49ers at Eagles. I'm going to take the home team, Eagles, to win this game. I think the only chance that the 49ers have is to really, really get Christian McCaffrey involved early. I don't even know where that game went to. I don't even know where that game is on these player props. But I think get Christian McCaffrey involved early. If they can't do that, and if they can't establish the run, I think the Eagles are going to win this easily. 49ers' weakness is on defense is through the air. I think the Eagles can definitely exploit that. Hurts just needs to trust throwing to his guys. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. If he can do that, I think they can win this game. So I'm going to go Eagles over San Fran. Also, the travel just sucks going to the East Coast. It's going to be cold. It's always cold and rainy-ish in Philly. It'll probably be cold. That definitely helps. So that the cold weather definitely helps New England, Pittsburgh, maybe even Carolina. Definitely the Eagles, though. Green Bay plays in the cold, so it doesn't really benefit the Bears. But there's like 4 games that could kind of be impacted by weather, just it being so cold. Now, with the AFC teams, haven't really thought much about this. Broncos' defense is pretty good. Bills have a ton of experience in the playoffs. I don't know. The Broncos just seem to find ways to win. But I believe the Broncos have won a bunch of 1-score games this season. So I get nervous with that. I really think I'm going to take Allen and the Bills over the Broncos. I could be so wrong about this. I mean, the Jags could literally knock them off in round 1. Now, yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. I'm going to go with my gut. Take the Bills over the Broncos. It's in Denver. Definitely favors the Broncos. But I don't know. I just have faith in Josh Allen in this one. So, Bills over Broncos. Houston would be at New England in this scenario. Now, this is tricky too because the Patriots have obviously played really well this season, but I don't think they've really been challenged too much offensively. The Texans would be a huge challenge. Number 1 ranked defense. It would be tough. I do get really nervous with CJ Stroud, but I think I'm gonna go Texans over the Patriots as much as it kills me. I think the Patriots might really, really be tested in this game. But yet again, I don't know if the Texans will be able to score. I think if it came down to this, I'd go New England. I kind of forgot about the weather. I think that would definitely affect the Texans' play. I honestly don't trust CJ Stroud in the playoffs. Drake May doesn't have any experience in the playoffs, but I think they're well coached. And if they focus on the run, if they get going on the run at all against the Texans, I think they could win. Let's go Patriots there. Might be a little bit biased, but we'll go Patriots there. Going to the NFC, it would be Rams Seahawks in this situation. Now, they've played twice already. I can't remember how they've played this season. I wonder if it says it on this. I doubt it does. Actually, we can go back here. When did they play? They didn't play in week 18. Okay, yeah. Oh, yes. Seahawks won in that overtime game against the Rams. And then I think their other matchup was in like week 2 or something. Guess I'm completely wrong about that. I don't know when they played. Week 7. When did they play? When was their other game? Oh, here we go. Week 11. Rams did win that one. Interesting. I think I'd probably lean Seattle considering it's at home. Yeah, considering it's a home game for Seattle, I think I'd lean Seattle in this game, although the Rams offense can be really explosive. But Jackson Smith has been really good. JSN, I should say, has been really good. It'll be home field advantage for Seattle. I think Seattle would do it. I think Seattle would pull off the win. Now, Philly, Chicago. This would be in Chicago. Weather wouldn't really matter in this one. I think I would go Philly. I think I would go Philly in this one. I think the Eagles have a better overall offense. And then defensively, they definitely do actually defensively. It would probably be a pretty big challenge for Caleb Williams. And I think if the Eagles can score some points, I think they can win that game. Because I know the Eagles defense is good. So conference championship would be Buffalo in New England and then Philly in Seattle. As much as it pains me to do this, I think I'm going to put Buffalo in the Super Bowl. Buffalo in the Super Bowl over New England. I mean, I think in that type of environment, Josh Allen can really, really elevate his game. They've already played 2 crazy games, Buffalo and New England. This one would be in New England, but Buffalo already came into New England and beat them this season. So Josh Allen gets to the Super Bowl. That would be pretty fun. We'll do that for now. In the NFC, it would be Philly at Seattle. Philly has the experience for sure. Seattle has been a better team this year, though. I'm going to put the Eagles in the Super Bowl against the Bills. I just think they have the most experience. They have a pretty tough road to get there. Beat the 49ers, beat the Bears, and then beat Seattle. But if a team can do it, I think they can do it. So let's do that. And then Bills-Eagles would be a really, really fun Super Bowl. I'm going to say Josh Allen gets it done. As much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to say the Bills win the Super Bowl. Look, Allen's looked really, really well in some games and looked really, really bad in other games. Their defense has been on and off, but all you have to do in the playoffs is be good for a few. And I think they can do it. I think they can be good for a few games. So I take the Bills in this one. And yeah, I guess we're going with the Bills. I wonder if I reset this, can I just like randomly simulate it? Wow. So it does have the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl, has the Broncos getting to the Super Bowl, and they have So they don't even have New England getting to the divisional round. They have the Chargers beating the Broncos. I can't see the Broncos getting to the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but I just can't see them getting to the Super Bowl. Bo Nix in the Super Bowl doesn't seem right. All right. Anyways, that pretty much wraps it up for the breakdowns for each game. I am going to have player props out probably tomorrow and then break down all those. I'll break down all those on YouTube probably tomorrow or Friday. We'll run through all the player props. I'll definitely have a big parlay for this weekend, like maybe a player prop for each game just to throw one out there. And then I'll obviously have individual player props that we'll go through too. But these 6 games should be really exciting. I think the Rams pull this one out. Just to go over them again. This one, Bears-Packers is really, really tough. Like now that Green Bay's favored, I'm definitely second-guessing going with the Bears in this one. But I do think the Bears are overall the better team. Bills, Jags, obviously home field advantage is big for the Jaguars, but Josh Allen, I don't see Josh Allen losing to Jacksonville in the first round. Again, same thing with the Eagles. I just can't see them losing at home to the 49ers. The 49ers defense is beat up. Patriots, Chargers, Patriots home field advantage. I feel like they shouldn't lose that game. And then this might be the best play of the weekend. I think Texans beat the Steelers by a ton. I'm sure a bunch of people are going to be on that. I just think the Texans defense is so good, and I really don't think the Steelers are going to be able to score. So that pretty much does it for all 6 games. I'll be back, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow or Friday going over all the player props for each game. I should have like two props for each game, so that should be fun to go over. Hopefully we can actually win some bets this weekend for the wildcard round. But for now, that'll do it. Hopefully some of these player props can hit, and I cannot wait for the weekend to be here. So have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow with all the player props from each game.